what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to continue the Burrito investigation. Quick recap about this. A listener, William, emailed the show. He found that someone had thrown or placed a burrito in his pool. It was completely intact other than a bite that had been taken out of it. We asked you guys, the listeners, to send in videos of you throwing Guzman and Gomez burritos just so we could get a vibe of how far you could throw one of those, because the thing about William, he's surrounded by 5 houses. So there's 5 different suspects in this investigation to find out who put the burrito in the pool. Earlier, we called William, who's the supposed victim in this, and this is how that call went. All right. Hey, William, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us, mate. How are you?
I'm good, thanks.
It is an absolute pleasure to have the Burrito King on the show, the man who started this investigation. And today we hope to get, well, maybe not to the bottom of it, but a lot more answers and definitely closer to finding a suspect with you. Here's what we want to know is, Will,
Yep.
I don't want to start this out in a negative way, but I just want to get it out of the way and clear your name. There's a few people that
is purely a formality, mate, but it doesn't need to be covered.
There's a few people in the sound off section and a few investigators out there suggesting that you might have done this yourself.
Oh,
How do you respond to those allegations?
look, I could not be more offended by that. Why? How would I go about doing that, to my own pool?
That's true. A man wouldn't do that to his own pool.
He
Although, who maintains the pool? Your dad or you?
My dad mostly, yeah.
Jeez, it's not looking good for you, Will, here. It seems like you'd absolutely do that to your pool.
Will, if I was to say right now, oh, mate, I'm just heading down to Guzman and Gomez, what would you like? What would you say to that question?
Oh, well, I'd say a burrito. Yeah,
very suspicious.
I know that incriminates me.
Yeah.
Well, look, this isn't looking good for you. This was a formality, but it's starting to look pretty dire, William.
So
I think I have a pretty good piece of evidence. Well, none of the Guzman and Gomez open until 10 a.m. in the morning around my area, and the burrito was found at 9:38 a.m. So I couldn't have gotten it in the morning.
Okay. All right. Well, the man has an alibi, which I'm inclined to believe. So we might have to close this section of the investigation, Luke.
Okay, that's fine. I'm happy to move on. I've got a few other theories that have been sent to us to run by you, Will, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Right, yep.
Chusty DJ on YouTube said, what if the burrito came from the upper floor of Will's own house?
I did see that comment. I mean, it's possible, but unlikely.
Because you've already done an inside check. You checked everyone's phone. No one had Uber Eats installed and stuff. Okay, I believe that. Yep. Someone else commented, not sure if you saw this one, did a bird do it?
Well, I mean, we were thinking about that at the start, but to be honest, it was a large burrito, and there were no claw marks in it when it was in the pool. It looked like a sandstone brick. It was quite smooth.
Yeah.
And I couldn't imagine that a bird's big enough to actually pick up a burrito without it falling apart.
You don't have any eagles in your area?
Unfortunately not, no.
Okay, all right. Now, William, we did have a listener go out and test the burrito throw to see how far the burrito could be thrown. And we feel like because obviously you live in your house, this might be a bit enlightening to you. Keelan, can we pull up the footage of the burrito throw so William can have a watch?
So this was 100% of all the usable submissions we got. So therefore, this is the only data that we have. A few people just started invoicing us and didn't film themselves throwing burritos. One guy on Instagram just sent me measurements, and I assume it was to do with the burrito throw. He just literally sent me a message that said 14.1 meters. And I was like, what the fuck is this regarding? So this is the only usable evidence we have.
All right. I've got a regular pulled pork burrito from Guzman and Gomez, whatever the fuck you pronounce it. Let's give this thing a throw. It's right on the outside, not on the overside. Let's measure this shit up now.
So he gets out his tape measure.
Burrito travel distance was 12 meters and 13 centimeters.
So 12 meters and 13 centimeters. Is your pool within 12 meters and 13 centimeters of neighboring backyards?
Only 2 houses are within 12
Ooh.
meters.
Okay.
and
So
30.
that narrows it down.
Which
It does.
houses?
It's house. Do you have a document up? It's house 1
Yep.
and house 4.
Right.
Okay. And
I'm
we'll
also-
put these documents up on the screen here as well.
Well,
Where's
I'm
your
also
keeler?
thinking of drawing a little diagram so we have it visually as well. Wait,
Yep.
did you include a diagram on your investigation?
I did, yeah. The Google
Okay.
Earth one.
Great. I'll maybe have a look at that after this call. Draw up a quick diagram for the show, and we can all just kind of get a visual. And does that show tree lines in there as well?
Yeah, I put the marker where I assumed that they would have thrown.
Yeah. Okay. You put the trajectory. I see.
So
you have-
we're looking, which houses is house 1 and house 4?
Yeah, those are within 12-ish meters.
Okay. Geez, mate, you live in a very nice area. These are giant blocks. House 1 looks like a mansion.
Yeah. I've got one problem with the piece of evidence though. He had
Okay.
this wrapped in foil, didn't he?
He did.
Yes.
It was a bear burrito.
But it was still intact.
Yeah,
Well, this
Wait,
changes
your one
everything.
wasn't in foil. I think we all just assumed it was still in its packaging this whole time.
I thought
a
I mentioned
massive
it. No, there was
bombshell.
no foil in it at all. It was just bear burrito.
But it was still intact in the pool.
It was still completely intact, apart from that one bite. Yes.
Was
What?
Did they eat it with glue? How did it stay together in the pool? That's miraculous. That makes me think that it was a very small throw,
Possibly the one from House 1.
or perhaps even a bit of a place.
Oh, you're not seriously suggesting that.
Well,
Well-
I'm just saying, like, I don't think I could throw a burrito anywhere without it exploding in the air, you know?
Here's
Who
the thing.
cares about the
Yeah.
impact? I think it would fall apart mid-air.
I don't want to accuse Will, but at the same time, the only thing that really is going in your favor at this point is there is no possible reason for you to make this story up. There's no motive at all to make this up. It doesn't achieve anything for you to just lie this far.
Yeah,
That's the only kind of reason why I believe you, but all the evidence is heavily stacking up against you, Will.
as
Well-
good is it?
Will,
Not good at
Will, I
all.
just have one question as well for you. Obviously, as we all know, I'm a detective, so is Detective Kidgel. Something that we know that criminals do a lot of the time is that when a big crime is committed and it becomes, headlines like it has on the show, often criminals will return to the scene of the crime. Where have you been since this incident happened? Have you been at home?
Well, obviously, assuming the quarantine lockdowns and everything, I have been.
Right. It seems
Very
like
suspicious.
it's like a very convenient excuse that you are legally not allowed to leave the scene of the crime.
So I think at the moment the two prime suspects is House 1 and yourself.
Yeah.
So the only evidence in the document which we've got on screen here, the only evidence in favor of House 1's innocence is that your grandma had a chat to one of them and said that they're really nice. But the problem with that, Will, is that piece of evidence in favor of innocence is in just about every one of these houses. I put to you, William, that your grandma is just a very nice lady, and I think she should be discounted from this investigation because if you like your grandma, that's just a normal response.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't want to betray grandma, would I?
Right, but
Well,
okay.
I'm not saying she's not I'm saying she is a very nice person.
Yes.
So, has anyone met your grandma and gone, oh, she's a bit of a bitch? Has that ever happened?
No, not that I'm aware of.
Exactly. I think the fact that your grandma
I
does
think
get
that
along
makes
with
it a lot worse for House 1 then.
yeah, because it
Right.
shows that your grandma's such a lovely person that she even gets along with the neighborhood drunks as well because she probably feels bad for them. She'd fucking pity me. God damn. So yeah, I would say maybe, Will, is it fair that your grandma is just nice to everyone and that we should rule her out of this investigation?
We'll rule her out on the fact that she's too nice.
Okay. All right. So
Let's do it.
so right now, House One has a lot of evidence stacked against them, and now we've ruled out the evidence in favor of their innocence. So it's looking like it's either them or you. Now, with most investigations, we do need to move on now to a trial. I think we've gathered a lot of evidence. William, you are being charged with putting a burrito in your pool, and we're also charging House One as well, because this is how the justice system works on the show. If you can't really narrow it down, charge everyone.
Yeah,
and
you
see
just
what
start.
happens.
Often, if you're a long-time listener of the show, often we just start accusing any party that was even there on the day, and you were there the next morning. So I guess that makes you automatically guilty on this show. I would say that maybe is it worth you visiting House One, and I'm not saying accuse them, but maybe just bring it up to them. Have you actually brought it up to any of your neighbors that you discovered the burrito?
I have not. I was hoping we could talk about how we could, message them and get in contact with them. Like the idea before with the paper over the fence.
Right, so you didn't actually want to go to their doorstep.
I would say,
Not really.
You could just say hello. Could work. Is
I
that a
think
method?
Will was more looking for like a paper airplane over the fence situation with a note attached.
That's probably more efficient. Yeah.
Well, maybe can you do a note?
All right. Yeah. If you want to.
I reckon just chuck a note to House One and be like, what should it say? Or maybe just try and guilt them into confessing. I know what you've done, and then maybe slap a piece of pulled pork on the note or something like that.
I have an idea. A paper plane is a good method of transportation, but how about you just attach your note to a burrito?
That's like a revengeful. That's a hate note then.
I could wrap it in the burrito, like the burrito wrap.
True. Maybe make
burrito.
Maybe like make a paper mache burrito and chuck it over the fence.
Or I put to you, William, a notarito.
Yeah, so I think it's settled. You make a notarito during the week and then with a note attached to it, and then throw it over the fence, and then let us know next week if you get a response.
Want me to?
Yeah, so just get a note and then wrap it in another bit of paper. It's a notarito, mate.
How do you spell notarito?
You don't need to know how to spell it. You just got to make it.
I've got a notarito for you, House One. You throw a burrito.
Yeah, so just go, I know what you've done. Maybe like, did you throw the pool? And then maybe give them like a yes, no thing that they can tick, and then they can toss it back. And boom, we may have an answer.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, great. All right, well, thank you very much.
Very non-committal from Mr. Knight. Thank you very much, mate. We do appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Will. And good luck with proving your innocence, because currently you are guilty as hell.
Now, before you go, William, we're just going to throw it to the listeners. Sound off. Who do you think's guilty in this situation? House One or William? How are you feeling at this stage in the investigation? This isn't the end of it, but we'd like to know what people think. William, what do you think the people are going to say?
I'd like to say to the people that I hope you know that there's no reason for me to do this. I wouldn't throw a burrito in my pool. And I wouldn't do it just to get on the show. I mean, I like the show, but is going out, getting a burrito, throwing it in the pool really worth it? Like, initially, I wasn't going to send the email because I thought it was crap. That's why I said I thought I was a 95%. But I mean, look.
True. You know what? The initial email did have a lot of low self-confidence, and that doesn't seem like a man who'd have the confidence to throw a burrito in his own pool.
Okay. All right. Well, sound off in the sound off section. Let us know. Who are you feeling? House One, or is it William himself? Let us know. Thank you very much, mate, for joining us on the show. We'll get back to you soon about the investigation. And just don't leave the state. No traveling. Just make sure you stay where we know where you are.
Oh, and also, Will, say if it gets to the time, if this investigation is still going and the laws are lifted, Would we be able to perhaps come over and do some investigating in person?
I mean, if you want to travel to Sydney, sure thing. Yeah.
Oh, it's in Sydney.
Yeah.
We'll I don't think international borders will be. Look, we might drive. We'll see.
Hey, Williams, we're probably never going to see you, mate. Thank you.
See ya.